putting you to work, man.
Another segment? Okay, now Chance is throwing another segment on me, which is the basketball segment, but we're in basketball season. Basketball was my first love, and I love March Madness, and I love everything about college basketball. That was what I grew up watching, the Ed Cotas and the Jason Williams and the great Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller Florida teams, and Chris Porters and Mamadou Njai's for Auburn, and it just a lot of great memories were built on college basketball, and I'm loving the fact we're now into basketball season. But boy, are we into basketball season. The SEC is the best it's ever been, ever. This is at this point, before the games on Saturday and last night, 10 out of the 16 teams were ranked. And the other 6 teams who weren't ranked had a combined record of 67-11. Like, that's incredible. Unbelievable ball in the SEC. And we've already seen this is going to be a bloodbath all year long. You started out this week, obviously, Bama played Oklahoma, absolutely dismantled Oklahoma. Bama shows, I think it's a lot going to be on home floors. So if I'm a betting man, I'm taking a lot of teams that are playing on their home floor, because Bama beat Oklahoma, a number 12 Oklahoma who was undefeated, whether they were pretenders or not, 107-79. Bama with 59 points in the second half. What an incredible game that was. But it was for Alabama, obviously, but not even the most incredible game of the day. That was Kentucky, Florida, 106-100. We were so used to the Anthony Grant years when Bama's playing in the 50s and 40s, and it's like 106-100 is Kentucky, Florida. What a game that was. I think that's what a lot you're going to see this year. But Bama crushes Oklahoma. They play South Carolina tonight. That should be a very good game. South Carolina is ranked, not ranked, but they are 10-4. They always have a good team up there, and they always play well in South Carolina. I think this will be a lot like the Auburn-Texas game last night. Auburn crushes Missouri at home. They squeaked by Texas on the road last night. So, same thing. I think South Carolina plays well at home. I think that game, Alabama's favored by 10.5. I think South Carolina covers at 10.5, and I think Bama wins by 4 or 5. So I think that's going to be, the road is very fickle in the SEC, and especially with all these good teams. You saw last night, for example, Florida hosts Tennessee, undefeated, number 1 in the country. They beat them by 30, 103-73. Holy cow. Like, that just doesn't happen in SEC basketball. And it doesn't happen in NCAA basketball, because let me tell you why. That's the first time a number 1 team in the country has lost by 30 points since 1968. We have things happening in the SEC that haven't happened since 1968. And I want to make sure I got that final score right. I said 103-73. It was 73-43. Boy, was I off. I was thinking more of the hundreds because of Florida and Kentucky. Tennessee scored 43 points. The number 1 team in the country got beat by 30. So like I said, I think this is what you're going to see from the SEC this year. But you have some big games before our next show. Bama will be at South Carolina. Then they'll be at Texas A&M, who's number 13 in the country. And then they're going to be at home versus Ole Miss. So that's going to be this is every week. Florida played number 6 Kentucky, number 1 Tennessee. This is what the life in the SEC is going to be every week. Auburn, on the other hand, is going to they crushed Missouri and they squeaked by Texas last night. They'll play at South Carolina after Bama does. So South Carolina will have Bama and Auburn, 2 top 10 teams coming into their house, and then they'll host Mississippi State, who's number 14 in the country, at home. Auburn will next Tuesday night before we have our show next week. So again, I'm looking down at these schedules. To end the season, Auburn, 23 Ole Miss at home, at number 6 Kentucky, at number 10 Texas A&M, Alabama at home, number 5 in the country. That's 4 top 23 teams in a row, 3 top 10 teams in a row. Like, they're going to beat, we're used to that in SEC football, not really in SEC basketball, but I think it's going to be such a dogfight all year. I think the SEC is going to get possibly 10, 11 teams in the tournament this year. But I think the winner of this conference is going to be like 12-6. I just don't think that it's going to be a year where you're going to see any teams go undefeated. Like I said, just like you saw Auburn, just like you saw Tennessee, the number one team in the country, they go and they lose by 30 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes, 16 games. So 10-6. I said 12-6. 10-6, I think, is a good record in the SEC this year. And you better win your home games because you're not going to win on the road. And again, that's not counting anything that against any of these teams that like Tennessee. I'm not holding anything against them because they lost by 30. That's just how good these other teams are. And something about home court advantage in basketball in college, I think it's the greatest advantage in any sport is home court advantage in college basketball. The stadiums are smaller. It gets so loud. I mean, Auburn's an incredible scene down there. Bama's getting there. Obviously, we know Duke. Did you see the Cooper Flag dunk last night, by the way?
Oh
LeBron had a crazy dunk last night, too.
Posterized.
Yeah. So I just think that plays so much into the outcomes of these games. I think it's almost a 6-7 point swing playing at home. So this is going to be a fun ride of college basketball. We'll have some interesting inside stuff on going throughout the season, on matchups, histories, and getting ready for March Madness, which we'll do a big bracket for. But SEC is going to be fun. I can't wait to start this segment, kind of give some more basketball, some more love. We've been all about football. It's time to move our way to basketball. And I'm not just saying this because I've been telling Chance that Auburn's been on basketball season now, and now that Bama's on basketball season. I'm not being that guy, but I am being that guy. So basketball, we're excited here on Tide and Tigers.